How to Rewire Your Mind for Success in 30 Days. Written and published by Imperium Audiobooks. They say success begins in the mind. Yet, for most people, their mind is their biggest obstacle. Negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, old patterns of self-doubt, and invisible mental habits quietly sabotage progress before it even begins. You might know what you need to do. Start the business. Change your habits. Push yourself beyond comfort. But something always seems to pull you back. That something is not the world, not your circumstances, and not other people. It's your programming. The patterns your mind has been repeating for years. But here is the truth. The mind is not fixed. It can be rewired. Just as a muscle grows stronger with training, your mind can be trained to think differently, to believe differently, and to act differently. And once your mind changes, your life changes. This audiobook is your 30-day blueprint to mental transformation. Across the next chapters, we'll go day by day, step by step, and reprogram your thoughts, emotions, and habits for success. You will learn how to break destructive beliefs, how to build powerful routines, how to train your brain for focus and discipline, and how to adopt the mindset of people who achieve extraordinary results. Here's the promise: if you follow the process, if you commit for just 30 days, your thinking will shift. You will no longer look at challenges the same way. You will no longer approach opportunities with hesitation. You will carry within you a sharper, stronger, success-driven mindset. By the end of this audiobook, you won't just believe in the possibility of success. You will feel success becoming your new identity. So take a deep breath, commit yourself fully, and let's begin this journey. The next 30 days could change the rest of your life. Chapter 1. Days 1 to 3. Breaking the chains of old programming. Every journey of transformation begins not with addition, but with subtraction. Before you can install new beliefs, habits, and mental wiring, you must first identify and break free from the patterns that have been holding you back. Think of your mind like a computer. If the system is corrupted with outdated software, no matter how advanced the new programs are, they won't run properly until you clean out the old code. For the first 3 days of this 30-day journey, your mission is to expose the old programming running your life, the beliefs you absorbed from childhood, the stories you've told yourself for years, and the voices of doubt that have kept you small. Most of these beliefs are invisible, like background noise. You don't consciously choose them. They simply run on autopilot, shaping your decisions without you noticing. But high performance begins with awareness. Start with this question: what are the beliefs I carry about success? Write them down. You might discover phrases like, "Success takes too long," "People like me never make it," or "I'm not disciplined enough." Some of these came from family, some from culture, and some from past failures. But here's the truth: a belief is nothing more than a repeated thought. And if a belief was learned, it can be unlearned. Day 1 is about observation. Carry a small notebook, or use the notes on your phone. Every time you hear yourself think something limiting, pause and write it down. Don't judge it, just observe it. By the end of the day, you'll likely have a list that surprises you. You'll see how often your mind repeats the same disempowering lines. Awareness is the first step to breaking free. Day 2 is about confrontation. Look back at the list you created. For each belief, ask yourself, where did this come from? Is it universally true, or is it just something I've accepted? Who would I be without this belief? For example, if you wrote, "I always give up too soon," ask, is that a fact, or just a story? Maybe there were times you persevered, but your mind only remembers the failures. Confronting these beliefs weakens their grip. Now comes the powerful part: replacement. The mind abhors a vacuum. You cannot simply delete a belief. You must replace it with a stronger one. If your old programming says, "I can't stay disciplined," replace it with, I am capable of building discipline one choice at a time. If your belief says, success is for others, replace it with, success is available to me, because I am willing to grow. At first, these new statements will feel uncomfortable, even fake. That's normal. Remember, all beliefs feel false until they are repeated enough to feel familiar. Day 3 is about repetition and rewiring. Pick 3 new empowering beliefs you want to install. Write them in bold, positive language. Then speak them out loud, morning and night, with conviction. Don't whisper them, declare them. Your brain rewires faster when your affirmations are paired with emotion and physical intensity. Stand tall, breathe deeply, and say them like you mean them. Do this 3 times a day. At first, your old programming will resist. It will argue. It will try to pull you back into the familiar. But with persistence, repetition begins to win. Let me give you a practical exercise. Create a belief shift chart. On one side, list your old limiting beliefs. On the other side, write your new empowering replacements. Keep this chart somewhere visible, your bathroom mirror, your desk, or your phone wallpaper. Every time you see it, repeat the new beliefs. The more you expose your brain to the new wiring, the faster it adopts it. These first 3 days are not glamorous. They won't give you instant riches or overnight transformation, but they are the foundation upon which everything else will be built. If you ignore this step, the old programming will sabotage your progress in the days ahead. But if you commit, if you take this seriously, you will feel something shift. By day 3, you will already notice greater awareness of your thoughts. You'll catch yourself mid-sentence, realizing, this is my old program speaking, and I have the power to change it. Remember this truth: you are not your thoughts. You are the thinker behind the thoughts. And once you realize that, you reclaim control. These first 3 days are about taking back that control, exposing the chains that once held you, and replacing them with beliefs that align with the life you want to create. You are beginning to rewire your mind, and this is only the start. Chapter 2. Days 4 to 6. Building unshakable morning rituals. The first hour of your day sets the tone for the rest of it. If you begin scattered, distracted, and reactive, you carry that chaos into everything you do. But if you begin with focus, energy, and intention, the day bends in your favor. High performers know this secret. Mornings are the launch pad of success. What you do when you wake up matters more than you think. For the next 3 days, your mission is to build a morning ritual that rewires your mind for clarity, energy, and purpose. These aren't just routines. They are rituals, deliberate acts that train your subconscious to operate at a higher frequency. You are programming your brain each morning, and over time this becomes the new normal. Day 4 begins with ownership of your mornings. Ask yourself, who currently owns the first hour of my day? Is it your phone, with its endless notifications, emails, and social media, or is it you? For most people, the first moments after waking are stolen by external demands. Before they've even had time to breathe, their minds are flooded with other people's priorities. If you want to rewire your mind, you must reclaim this sacred hour. Here's the rule. For the next 30 days, the first hour belongs to you. No phone, no email, no scrolling. This is the time to align your mind and body for success. At first, the urge to check your device will be strong. That's the old wiring pulling you back. Resist it. Every time you delay distraction, you strengthen discipline. Day 5 is about building the core of your ritual, the 3 pillars of power: movement, stillness, and intention. Start with movement. Your body is the hardware of your brain, and when your body is sluggish, your mind is foggy. 10 minutes of exercise, stretching, push-ups, yoga, or a brisk walk sends oxygen to your brain and tells your nervous system, it's time to wake up. After movement comes stillness. This could be meditation, deep breathing, or even a moment of gratitude. Spend at least 5 minutes sitting quietly, focusing on your breath. Thoughts will arise. Let them pass without judgment. This practice builds mental clarity, reduces stress, and sharpens your ability to focus throughout the day. Think of it as clearing the mental desk before you begin working. Finally, set intention. Most people stumble into their day, reacting to whatever comes. High performers begin by choosing their focus. Take out a journal and write down 3 things: what you're grateful for, your top priorities for the day, and 1 empowering affirmation. For example, today I will bring energy to everything I do. I am capable of solving problems with creativity. My focus will create results. By writing and speaking these intentions, you prime your subconscious to look for evidence of them throughout the day. Day 6 is about refinement and personalization. There is no one-size-fits-all ritual. The goal is not perfection. The goal is consistency. Some people thrive with long morning routines lasting an hour or more. Others find power in a simple 20-minute ritual. The key is that it must serve you. Experiment. If journaling doesn't feel natural, replace it with visualization. If meditation feels overwhelming, start with 3 deep breaths. Build a ritual that excites you to wake up. Now, let's address the deeper reason why morning rituals matter: neuroplasticity. Your brain is most malleable in the first moments after waking. Your subconscious is still active. Your prefrontal cortex hasn't yet shifted into full gear, and your mental state is highly suggestible. Whatever you feed your mind in this window sinks deeper and faster than at any other time of the day. If you flood your brain with chaos, you reinforce chaos. If you flood it with intention, you reinforce intention. This is why rituals are not just habits, they are rewiring tools. Here's a simple challenge for the next 3 days. Create a ritual that includes at least 5 minutes of movement, 5 minutes of stillness, and 5 minutes of intention. That's only 15 minutes, yet it can transform the trajectory of your entire day. If you want to extend it, do so. But even at the minimum, you are programming your mind for success. By the end of day 6, you'll notice the difference. You'll feel calmer, sharper, and more grounded. You'll start your day with power instead of panic. And most importantly, you'll realize that success isn't about random luck. It's about daily design. When you design your mornings, you design your future. Remember this: your mornings are your foundation. Protect them, guard them, ritualize them, because the way you begin your day is how you build your life. Chapter 3. Days 7 to 9. Reprogramming self-talk and inner dialogue. If you could record every thought that passes through your mind in a single day, what would you hear? Chances are, much of it would shock you. Not because you are unusual, but because the human mind is naturally biased toward negativity. Psychologists call this the negativity bias, a survival mechanism left over from ancient times when being alert to danger was essential to staying alive. But in the modern world, this bias becomes poison. Instead of protecting us, it keeps us locked in fear, doubt, and hesitation. Here's the truth. The most powerful voice in your life is not your parents, your boss, your partner, or even your mentors. It's the voice in your own head. That inner dialogue, the way you talk to yourself when no one is listening, determines how high you rise or how low you stay. High performers are not free from inner chatter, but they have learned to master it. They don't allow destructive self-talk to dictate their lives. They train their inner voice to support, not sabotage. For the next 3 days, your mission is to take control of your self-talk. You are going to listen, interrupt, and reprogram. Day 7 begins with listening. Just as in Chapter 1, awareness is the starting point. Throughout the day, notice how you speak to yourself. Do you say things like, "I'm so stupid," "I'll never get this right," or "this is too hard"? These may slip out so quickly you don't even notice them. Write them down as they appear. Don't censor, don't justify. just record. This is your raw data, the soundtrack currently running in your head. Day 8 is about interrupting the pattern. Once you catch yourself using destructive self-talk, you must intervene. The simplest method is the pattern break. Say the word stop out loud, or if that's not possible, say it in your mind with force. Some people snap their fingers, clap their hands, or even wear a rubber band on their wrist to snap gently when a negative thought arises. The action doesn't matter as much as the interruption itself. You are signaling to your brain, this thought does not serve me, but interruption alone is not enough. You must replace the destructive with the constructive. Here's how it works. If your inner voice says, I'll never succeed at this, replace it with I am learning and improving every day. If it says, I'm terrible at speaking, replace it with every time I speak, I grow more confident. The key is not to swing unrealistically from I'm a failure to I'm a genius. That feels fake, and your brain will resist it. Instead, replace it with believable, progressive statements that point you in the right direction. Day 9 is about strengthening your new dialogue through repetition and emotion. Each morning and evening, stand in front of a mirror and repeat your empowering statements out loud. Look yourself in the eyes as you say them. At first you may feel awkward or even silly. That's normal. But understand this, your subconscious mind does not distinguish between reality and repeated suggestion. What you say with conviction again and again eventually becomes your truth. Let's bring in some science. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself, is activated by repetition and emotion. When you repeatedly pair a new empowering statement with a strong emotional state, confidence, gratitude, determination, you literally carve new neural pathways. The old grooves of self-doubt weaken, and the new grooves of confidence strengthen. Over time, your inner dialogue shifts from enemy to ally. Here's a practical exercise to turbocharge this process. Record yourself speaking your empowering affirmations in a strong, confident voice. Play this recording during your commute, while you work out, or as you fall asleep. By hearing your own voice declare your new beliefs, you reinforce them at both the conscious and subconscious levels. Another exercise, whenever you accomplish something, no matter how small, pause and acknowledge it. Say out loud, I did that, I'm proud of myself. This rewires your inner dialogue to notice wins instead of only failures. Over time, your brain begins to default to encouragement instead of criticism. By the end of day 9, you'll start to notice subtle shifts. Maybe you'll catch yourself correcting negative thoughts faster. Maybe you'll find your inner voice cheering you on in moments where it used to tear you down. These small victories compound. The more you practice, the more natural, empowering self-talk becomes. Remember this, your inner dialogue is not fixed. It is programmable. And once you take control of it, you'll discover a powerful ally that travels with you everywhere. You can't escape your inner voice, so you might as well train it to work for you, not against you. By mastering self-talk, you unlock one of the greatest mental rewiring tools available. And now, as you move forward, you'll begin to notice just how much lighter and stronger life feels when the loudest voice you hear is telling you the truth. You are capable, you are growing, and you are enough. Chapter 4. Days 10 to 12. The science of visualization and mental rehearsal. If the human mind cannot distinguish between something vividly imagined and something actually experienced, then the secret to success lies not only in what you do, but also in what you picture. Visualization or mental rehearsal is one of the most underused yet powerful tools available to anyone who wants to rewire their mind for success. Athletes, world-class performers, and high achievers have long understood its value. They know that before you can hold success in your hands, you must first hold it in your mind. Day 10 begins by introducing you to the practice of visualization. Close your eyes and imagine a moment in the future when you've achieved one of your greatest goals. Let's say you want to launch a thriving business. Don't just see the word success in abstract form. Step into the scene with all 5 senses. Picture yourself sitting at your desk, reading messages from satisfied clients. Hear the sound of your phone buzzing with new opportunities. Feel the confidence in your body as you stand tall and interact with others. Smell the coffee on your desk. Taste the victory in your mouth. The more sensory details you bring in, the more powerful the visualization becomes. The brain responds to imagery. Studies using brain scans have shown that when people imagine performing an action, the same areas of the brain light up as when they actually perform it. To your subconscious, imagining speaking on a stage, hitting the winning shot, or writing your book is nearly indistinguishable from the real act. This is why athletes visualize their moves before stepping into the arena. They are literally training their nervous system in advance. You can do the same. Day 11 is about mental rehearsal. Think of it as practice without leaving your chair. Choose a goal or challenge you want to conquer. Maybe it's delivering a confident presentation, asking for a promotion, or starting a difficult project. Close your eyes and rehearse yourself performing flawlessly. See the situation unfold step by step, as if you're watching a movie of your best self. Pay attention to posture, tone of voice, and emotions. Picture obstacles appearing, and yourself overcoming them with grace. Rehearse not just the outcome, but also the process. The more you rehearse, the stronger the mental blueprint becomes. Over time, when you step into the real situation, your body and mind will follow the script you've practiced. Instead of freezing up with fear, you'll feel a sense of familiarity. It will feel like déjà vu, because in a way, it is. You've been here before, in your mind. Day 12 takes visualization to a deeper level. Now, you'll practice combining imagery with emotion. Emotion is the amplifier that tells your subconscious mind, this matters. If you visualize passively, your brain treats it as a daydream. But if you visualize with conviction, gratitude, excitement, and belief, the brain treats it as reality. Stand in your visualization with the energy of someone who has already achieved the goal. Smile, breathe deeply. Feel the joy of accomplishment flowing through your body. Anchor the visualization with strong emotions, and it becomes unforgettable. Here's a practical routine you can apply each morning. Spend 5 minutes visualizing your day going exactly as you desire. See yourself waking up energized, working with focus, speaking confidently, and finishing the day feeling proud. At night, spend another 5 minutes visualizing the bigger goals you're working toward, that dream business, career, or lifestyle. This morning-evening practice programs both your conscious and subconscious mind to align with success. There's also power in written visualization. Try journaling your vision as if it has already happened. Instead of writing, "One day I will start a business," write, "I am running a thriving business that impacts lives daily." This creates mental ownership. You're no longer chasing the goal, you're living it in advance. Think of visualization as mental sculpting. Every day you rehearse your success, you chisel away at self-doubt, and carve out the form of the person you are becoming. You are training your nervous system, rewiring your brain, and programming your mind to recognize success as your natural state. By the end of day 12, you will notice a change in the way you carry yourself. Your energy will shift, opportunities may begin to appear, and you'll feel more prepared to seize them. This isn't magic, it's alignment. When your inner world becomes clear, your outer world starts to follow. Visualization is not about living in fantasy. It's about preparing your mind so powerfully that when the opportunity arrives, you don't hesitate. You've already seen yourself succeed, and so when the moment comes, you simply step into what you've already rehearsed. Chapter 5. Days 13 to 15. Building habits that rewire automatically. By now you've practiced awareness, reframing your thoughts, and even visualizing success before it arrives. But here's the truth. No matter how powerful your motivation feels today, it will fade if it's not supported by systems. The human brain is designed to conserve energy, which is why habits are so powerful. Once a behavior is wired into your daily rhythm, you don't need to think about it. It simply runs on autopilot. And that is where true transformation lies, not in one-time bursts of inspiration, but in small, repeatable actions that compound over time. Day 13 begins with the principle that habits are the invisible architecture of success. If you examine any high achiever, you'll find that their results are not just from talent or intelligence, but from the rituals they've built into their lives. A writer doesn't wait for inspiration. They sit down to write every day at the same time. An athlete doesn't negotiate with themselves about training. Practice is built into their calendar. A leader doesn't rely on random moments of clarity. They create space daily for thinking, journaling and planning. Your task today is to examine your own routines. Take an honest inventory. Which actions move you closer to your goals, and which actions hold you back? Do you begin your morning scrolling through distractions, or do you begin with focus and intention? Do you spend your evenings on automatic entertainment, or do you use some of that time to learn, reflect or strategize? Awareness of your habits is the first step toward change. Day 14 is about habit installation. The key insight is that willpower is a limited resource, but habits bypass willpower. Instead of fighting yourself daily, you anchor behaviors to triggers in your environment. This is known as habit stacking. For example, if you want to develop the habit of daily journaling, tie it to an action you already do without fail, like drinking your morning coffee. After I pour my coffee, I will write 1 page in my journal. Or if you want to practice gratitude, link it to brushing your teeth at night. After I brush my teeth, I will write down 3 things I'm grateful for. By attaching new behaviors to old ones, you create a chain reaction. Over time, these micro habits accumulate into massive results. You don't have to overhaul your entire life in a day. You only need to start small and stay consistent. Just as water dripping on a stone eventually reshapes it, small actions repeated consistently will rewire your mind and reshape your reality. Day 15 brings in the concept of identity-based habits. Most people try to change by focusing on outcomes. I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to make more money. But outcomes don't sustain motivation. What does? Identity. Instead of asking, what result do I want? Ask, who do I want to become? If your goal is to write a book, don't just say, I want to publish a book. Begin saying, I am a writer. If your goal is to build wealth, don't just say, I want more money. Say, I am a disciplined steward of money. If your goal is fitness, don't say, I want to lose weight. Say, I am an athlete. When you adopt the identity first, your actions follow naturally. Every time you take an action aligned with that identity, every page written, every dollar saved, every workout completed, you cast a vote for the type of person you are becoming. The reason this matters is because the brain resists actions that feel inconsistent with your self-image. If you see yourself as someone who struggles, every attempt at success feels unnatural. But if you rewire your mind to see yourself as someone who wins, then each successful action reinforces that identity. The loop becomes self-sustaining. Identity drives behavior and behavior strengthens identity. Think about the habits you want to lock in for the next stage of your journey. Choose 1 or 2 that feel small but powerful. For example, reading 10 pages of a growth-oriented book each day, writing down your top 3 priorities each morning, or exercising for just 15 minutes daily. These don't require enormous willpower, but when repeated, they accumulate into unstoppable momentum. Another powerful strategy is to engineer your environment. Willpower struggles vanish when your environment does half the work for you. If you want to eat healthier, fill your kitchen with nutritious foods and remove junk snacks from easy reach. If you want to stay focused, keep your workspace clean and free from digital temptations. If you want to build a consistent learning habit, keep a book on your desk or download an audiobook app on your phone. Your environment is always shaping your behavior, whether you realize it or not, so design it consciously. By the end of day 15, you will have built the foundation for automatic success. You won't have to wake up every morning asking, "Do I feel motivated today?" Because your habits will carry you forward even when motivation dips. That is the power of rewiring through repetition. You are no longer relying on bursts of willpower. You are building a system that makes success inevitable. Remember, success is not an event. It is the natural result of your daily habits, multiplied over time. Build the right ones, and your future is guaranteed. Chapter 6. Days 16 to 18. Breaking free from mental roadblocks. At this stage in your journey, you've already laid powerful foundations. You've begun dismantling old thought patterns, introduced visualization, and started anchoring yourself with habits that make success automatic. But now, you will confront one of the greatest barriers to transformation, your own mental roadblocks. These are the invisible walls you've built over the years, often without realizing it. They're not external obstacles. They're the whispers in your mind that say, "I can't, it's too hard," or maybe later. Day 16 begins with understanding the anatomy of a mental roadblock. Most roadblocks are not logical. They're emotional. Think of the fear of failure. Rationally, you know failure is part of growth, that every successful person has failed dozens of times. Yet emotionally, failure feels like a threat to your identity, your self-worth, and even your survival. The brain is wired to avoid pain, and failure is interpreted as pain. That's why so many people sabotage themselves before they even begin. Your work today is to shine a spotlight on these fears. Write down the doubts that circle in your head. For example, if I try this business idea, I'll lose money. Or if I put myself out there, people will laugh at me. Now ask yourself, is this fear a fact? Or is it a story I've been telling myself? 90% of the time, it's a story, and stories can be rewritten. Day 17 is about replacing fear with evidence. Here's the truth. Your brain listens to proof. Every time you succeed at something small, you chip away at the mental roadblock that says, "I can't." Imagine a person afraid of public speaking. If they force themselves into a huge audience immediately, their fear might paralyze them. But if they start by speaking confidently in front of a mirror, then to a close friend, then to a small group, they build evidence that they can do it. This principle works everywhere. Afraid of starting a business? Begin with one small project or side hustle. Doubtful about your ability to get fit? Start with 5 push-ups today, then build gradually. Each action becomes evidence, and evidence rewires the mind faster than theory. The key here is progress, not perfection. Each small victory silences the inner critic that tries to keep you stuck. But there's another mental roadblock lurking beneath the surface, the fear of success. It sounds strange, but many people fear what will happen if they actually win. Success can bring responsibility, visibility, and expectations. Some worry they'll lose relationships. Others fear they'll be exposed as frauds. This is why people self-sabotage just when things are about to go well. On day 17, reflect deeply. Do I fear success as much as I fear failure? Ask yourself, if I actually get what I want, what would change? What would I gain? And what might I lose? By facing these hidden fears, you neutralize their power. Success no longer feels like a threat. It feels like an opportunity you're prepared to handle. Day 18 is about strategy, how to push through roadblocks even when they feel immovable. One method is reframing obstacles as stepping stones. Instead of saying this challenge means I'm not cut out for this, reframe it as This challenge is exactly how I grow. Every obstacle is evidence that you're stretching beyond your comfort zone. No one grows inside comfort. The obstacle is not the end. It's the path. Another strategy is the what's the worst that can happen exercise. Most fears lose their grip when you define them. If you're afraid of failing a project, ask yourself what's the actual worst-case scenario. Maybe you lose some money. Maybe you get embarrassed. But will you still be alive? Will you still have the ability to try again? Almost always the worst case is survivable. And once you realize you can survive it, fear shrinks and courage expands. You also need allies in this process. The people you spend time with either reinforce your roadblocks or help you dismantle them. If you surround yourself with doubters, critics, or people who've given up on themselves, their voices will echo your own doubts. But if you align with those who are growth-minded, courageous and forward-moving, their mindset will seep into yours. One supportive friend, mentor, or community can do more to demolish roadblocks than 100 motivational quotes. By the end of day 18, you will have learned to confront fear with clarity, replace doubt with evidence, and reframe obstacles as allies. You'll also begin noticing that many roadblocks are not permanent walls but illusions, shadows that vanish once you shine the light of action on them. The journey of success is not about never facing barriers. It's about learning to navigate through, around, or even with them. Roadblocks become fuel for growth, and once you master this, you no longer fear the challenges ahead. Instead, you welcome them, because you know each one is a sign that you're moving forward. Chapter 7, Days 19 to 21. The Power of Discipline and Consistency. At this point in your 30-day transformation, you've built awareness, practiced visualization, installed habits, and confronted mental roadblocks. Now comes the chapter that will determine whether your new mindset becomes permanent or fades away. Discipline and consistency. Day 19 begins with a simple but brutal truth. Motivation is unreliable. Everyone feels motivated in the beginning, when a new idea excites them, or when they've just consumed an inspiring book or talk. But motivation, like adrenaline, wears off quickly. If you build your success on motivation alone, your progress will rise and fall like the tide. What separates achievers from dreamers is not how motivated they feel, but how disciplined they remain when motivation disappears. Discipline is the ability to act according to your values and goals, even when your emotions resist. Think of an athlete waking up at 5 a.m. to train. Do you think they always feel excited to go? No, but discipline pulls them out of bed because the habit has been anchored to a bigger vision. The same is true for entrepreneurs, leaders, and creators. They don't wait for the perfect mood. They act regardless. Day 19 is about adopting this principle into your own life. Write down the 3 non-negotiables that, if done daily, will keep you aligned with your success. For example, I will exercise for at least 20 minutes. I will write at least 1 page. I will review my goals every morning. These are not optional, they are agreements with yourself. And every time you keep these promises, you strengthen your self-trust, which is the foundation of confidence. Day 20 shifts the focus to consistency. Success is not created by one massive action, but by small actions, repeated relentlessly. The brain learns through repetition. If you practice a skill once a week, your brain forgets in between sessions. But if you practice daily, the neural pathways become stronger and more efficient. This is how musicians master instruments, how athletes refine techniques, and how leaders develop sharp decision-making. Consistency also compounds results. Imagine saving just $1 every day. At first it feels insignificant, but over time, the savings grow, investments compound, and wealth builds. The same principle applies to habits of health, learning, and focus. Consistency is the silent multiplier of success. But here's the catch: life will always throw disruptions your way. Unexpected events, fatigue, or crises can break your rhythm. This is why you must adopt what I call the rule of never missing twice. Missing one day is human. Missing 2 days in a row is the beginning of a downward spiral. If you slip, get back on track immediately. Discipline is not about perfection, it's about persistence. Day 21 is where we elevate this practice by introducing systems. A disciplined, consistent person doesn't rely on memory or willpower. They design systems that make consistency easy. For instance, if your goal is to work out daily, set out your workout clothes the night before. If your goal is to read daily, keep a book by your bed or in your bag. If your goal is to eat healthier, prepare meals in advance. Systems reduce friction, and reduced friction increases consistency. Another powerful system is accountability. When your goals are only in your head, it's easy to negotiate with yourself. But when you declare them to someone else, you create external pressure to follow through. This could be a friend, a mentor, or even an online community. Accountability transforms discipline from a solo effort into a shared commitment. As you close day 21, reflect on the larger picture. The people you admire, the ones who appear unstoppable, are not superhuman. They simply mastered the boring, repetitive discipline of showing up every day. They understood that greatness is not the result of one grand gesture, but thousands of small, consistent choices. You are now building that same foundation. Every act of discipline, no matter how small, is a declaration of who you are becoming. Every consistent choice rewires your brain to expect success as the natural outcome of your life. Discipline and consistency are not chains, they are freedom. They free you from the chaos of mood swings and uncertainty. They give you stability, momentum, and the power to build a life on your terms. By the end of day 21, you will not just think differently, you will live differently. Your actions will no longer depend on fleeting emotion. They will be grounded in discipline, reinforced by consistency, and amplified by systems. And once you master this, your success is no longer a question of if, but only of when. Chapter 8. Days 22 to 24. Developing emotional resilience. Success isn't only about strategy, knowledge, or even discipline. It's also about how you handle the storms of life. Because no matter how carefully you plan, life will test you. There will be failures, disappointments, betrayals, and unexpected setbacks. What determines whether you rise or fall isn't the challenge itself. It's your ability to recover, adapt, and continue forward. That ability is called emotional resilience, and without it, even the best plans collapse. Day 22 begins with understanding what resilience truly means. Many people mistake resilience for coldness, pretending that challenges don't hurt. But resilience is not about being numb. It's about feeling the pain, acknowledging the difficulty, and still choosing to move forward. Imagine a bamboo tree. When a storm comes, the oak tree tries to resist with brute strength, and often snaps. The bamboo bends, sways and flexes with the wind. It looks fragile, yet when the storm passes, the bamboo is still standing. That is resilience, flexibility under pressure. So, how do you become like bamboo? You start by changing your relationship with adversity. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" begin asking, "What is this teaching me?" Every setback carries a lesson. Failure can teach humility. Betrayal can teach discernment, delay can teach patience, and obstacles can teach creativity. When you train your mind to search for lessons, even painful experiences become sources of growth. Day 23 is about emotional regulation, the ability to manage your state when pressure mounts. Left unchecked, emotions can hijack your mind. Anger clouds judgment, fear paralyzes action, and despair drains motivation. Resilience doesn't mean you never feel these emotions. It means you don't let them drive the car. You feel them, acknowledge them, and then take back the wheel. One powerful practice here is mindfulness. When you feel a wave of fear or anger, pause, don't react immediately. Take 3 slow, deep breaths. This small act interrupts the stress response in your brain. It gives your rational mind time to re-engage. You can also use journaling as a form of emotional release. Write down what you're feeling without judgment. Seeing your emotions on paper often reduces their intensity and reveals patterns you can learn from. Another resilience practice is reframing. Instead of seeing challenges as permanent, see them as temporary. Instead of viewing failure as personal, view it as situational. For example, saying, "I failed, therefore I'm a failure," destroys resilience. Saying, "This attempt failed, therefore I need to adjust my approach," preserves resilience. The words you use in your inner dialogue can either trap you or free you. Day 24 takes resilience to its highest level, building anti-fragility. This means not just surviving difficulties, but becoming stronger because of them. Think of how muscles grow. You don't build strength by avoiding resistance. You build it by pushing against resistance. Similarly, your emotional strength grows when you face challenges instead of running from them. Each test you endure adds to your capacity for the future. To practice anti-fragility, expose yourself to small, controlled stresses that prepare you for bigger ones. This could mean taking on a challenging project that stretches your skills, practicing public speaking, even if it scares you, or having difficult conversations instead of avoiding them. Each time you lean into discomfort, you expand your tolerance for future storms. Another tool for resilience is gratitude. It may sound soft, but gratitude is one of the most powerful buffers against despair. When you train your mind to notice what is still good, even in hard times, you prevent challenges from consuming your entire perspective. At the end of each day, list 3 things you're grateful for, especially when the day feels heavy. Gratitude doesn't erase pain, but it gives you the strength to keep going. By the end of day 24, you will begin noticing a shift. Life's difficulties won't feel as crushing. You'll face them with a steadier heart and a clearer mind. Instead of collapsing under stress, you'll bend and adapt like bamboo. Instead of fearing challenges, you'll begin to welcome them, knowing they make you stronger. Emotional resilience is not about avoiding pain. It's about using pain as fuel. And once you master this, you'll realize that no matter what comes your way, you are equipped not just to endure but to thrive. Chapter 9. Days 25 to 27. Mastering focus and eliminating distractions. By now your mindset is stronger, your habits are building, and you're learning to bend without breaking. But there's one more skill that will determine how far and how fast you go. Focus. In today's world, distraction is the silent enemy of success. Your phone buzzes, notifications pull your attention, endless entertainment calls your name, and before you realize it, hours slip away with nothing to show for it. If you don't master focus, your rewired mind will never reach its full potential. Day 25 begins with a harsh truth. Attention is your most valuable currency. Money spent can be earned again. Time lost can never return. But attention, where you place your mental energy, determines both how you use your time and how you create your money. Think about it. Every breakthrough in business, art, sports, or science came because someone had the ability to direct their focus deeply and consistently. The modern world, however, is designed to steal that focus. Social media platforms, apps, and even advertising companies spend billions engineering ways to hijack your attention. If you don't take control, you will live in a state of mental fragmentation, busy but not productive, connected but not fulfilled. So the first step is awareness. Ask yourself daily, where did my attention go today? Did it serve me, or did I give it away cheaply? Day 26 is about building the skill of deep work. Focus is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. Begin by carving out a block of uninterrupted time each day for one important task. It could be working on your business, writing, studying, or strategizing. During this block, remove distractions, silence your phone, shut down unnecessary tabs, and let others know you're unavailable. Even 90 minutes of true focus can produce more value than an entire day of scattered attention. To strengthen this practice, try the Pomodoro technique, 25 minutes of focused work, followed by a 5-minute break. Repeat this cycle 4 times, then take a longer break. This method trains your brain to concentrate in bursts, making distraction less tempting. Over time, you'll extend your ability to focus for longer stretches. Another key to deep work is clarity. Distraction often wins because people don't know what matters most. Each morning, identify your top 3 priorities for the day. Ask yourself, if I only accomplished these 3 things, would I still feel today was a success? Focus is easier when your goals are crystal clear. Day 27 takes focus beyond time management and into identity. To truly eliminate distractions, you must become the type of person who values attention like gold. High performers don't chase every notification because they know their mission is too important. They design their lives to protect their focus. Start by reshaping your environment. If your phone is your greatest distraction, place it in another room while you work. If social media drains your hours, install apps that block access during focus periods. If your workspace is cluttered, clean it until only the essentials remain. Your environment is always nudging you toward or away from focus. Design it to work for you. Another powerful practice is meditation. Even 5 minutes a day of focusing on your breath sharpens your ability to notice when your attention wanders and bring it back. Over time, meditation rewires the brain to resist distraction and sustain focus more naturally. Think of it as weightlifting for your attention span. But focus isn't only about eliminating the negative, it's also about choosing the positive, deciding what deserves your attention. You can't focus on everything, and you don't need to. High performers deliberately ignore what doesn't align with their purpose. They understand that saying yes to one thing means saying no to another. So ask yourself daily, what am I willing to ignore so I can focus on what truly matters? By the end of day 27, you'll notice a new clarity in how you use your time. You'll no longer be dragged helplessly by distractions, but will begin steering your attention like a skilled driver. And once you master your focus, your productivity multiplies, your creativity deepens, and your results accelerate. Focus is freedom. It frees you from the chaos of distraction and gives you power over your most limited resource, your time. Master this skill, and you'll achieve more in weeks than most people achieve in years. Chapter 10. Days 28 to 30. Becoming the person success belongs to by now. You've walked through the discipline of habits, the power of vision, the strength of resilience, and the mastery of focus. You've faced yourself in the mirror and started building a new identity, one rooted in intentionality and purpose. But transformation isn't about stacking techniques, it's about becoming. These final 3 days are about embodying the person who doesn't just chase success but lives as though success is already written into their DNA. Day 28 is about embodiment. You've trained your mind with principles and practices, but now it's time to wear them like skin. Identity is more powerful than motivation. When you identify as someone disciplined, focus becomes natural. When you identify as someone who values health, exercise is no longer a choice but a reflection of who you are. When you identify as a creator, taking action becomes instinct. Ask yourself, who am I becoming through this 30-day journey? Write down the qualities of your new self: disciplined, confident, resilient, focused, bold. Then commit to acting as that person today, not in the future. The brain does not distinguish strongly between who you are and who you consistently act like. So if you consistently act like a leader, you become one. If you consistently act like a winner, you internalize winning as your default state. Day 29 is about service and expansion. Success, when focused only on yourself, eventually collapses into emptiness. True high performers redirect their growth outward toward helping others, solving problems and lifting communities. Think about it. Every major figure of lasting impact didn't just accumulate wealth or fame, they contributed something that improved lives. This doesn't mean you must start a foundation or become a global speaker overnight. It begins with small acts: mentoring someone, sharing your knowledge, offering encouragement, or creating something valuable for others. Service reaffirms your identity as someone with purpose. It shifts your focus from "how do I succeed" to "how do I contribute?" And paradoxically, the more you contribute, the more success you attract. Day 30 is integration. The final step of rewiring your mind is not to view these 30 days as a challenge you completed, but as a foundation you live from. Too many people finish a self-improvement sprint, celebrate, and then slip back into old patterns. That won't be you. Because this isn't a 30-day trick. This is the reset button for the rest of your life. Integration means taking the habits, mindsets and focus practices you've built and weaving them into your identity permanently. It means no longer asking, "How do I stay disciplined?" but instead saying, "I am disciplined." It means no longer asking, "How do I find motivation?" but instead living as, "I am motivated because my purpose fuels me." To lock in this identity, create a daily ritual of reflection. Each evening, ask yourself 3 questions. Did I live today as the person I said I am becoming? Did my actions align with my values and purpose? What can I improve tomorrow to rise higher? This ritual prevents you from drifting and keeps your new wiring active. At this stage, you should also set a vision beyond 30 days. Where do you see yourself in the next 6 months, 12 months, 3 years? Write it down. The human mind is naturally pulled forward by the images it creates. Without a new vision, even the strongest habits can weaken. Give yourself something bigger to run toward, something that excites you, scares you, and makes you wake up hungry for growth. And finally, understand this: success is not an event. It's a lifestyle. It's not a finish line you cross once. It's the way you walk every single day. By rewiring your mind over these past 30 days, you've shifted from a reactive life to a deliberate one. You've taken the power back from old patterns, excuses, and distractions. You've proven to yourself that change is not only possible, it's inevitable when you commit fully. So today, on day 30, stand tall, breathe deep, acknowledge the journey behind you, but more importantly, look ahead with certainty. You are not the same person who began this process. You are stronger, sharper, and more focused. You are a person who acts with purpose, who directs their attention with clarity, who sees challenges as fuel, and who understands that success doesn't belong to the lucky. It belongs to those who take ownership of their minds. From this day forward, success isn't something you chase. It's who you are. It flows through your thoughts, your actions, and your presence. You've rewired your mind, and now you are unstoppable.